All right, welcome to another episode of Operation American Dream. I'm proud to be your host, Craig Sewing, with Amy Scruggs. You know, life is so crazy. We have these crazy weeks. This is like one of my favorite times of the week with all the shows and stuff we do, to sit down with you and to honor our military. I genuinely enjoy it as much as anything that we have going on all week long in this studio.
Oh, well, thank you. I do too. I could not agree more. It's so exciting. Beforehand, I'm like, oh boy, we get to go do this. So,
And we need to let our audience know that we are not sister and brother.
No,
Right.
we're not.
So there is a misconception out in the public that that might be the case. No, that is not.
If so, I would be the younger sister.
She's smarter, prettier, more talented. There is no relation, but she is an amazing co-host, and we got a great show today. So I'm going to be interviewing a guy named Mike Chazelle, served in the military, crushing it in real estate, and there's a lot of opportunities in that with that VA financing, no money down. So I'm going to go deep on that. My job on American Dream is to be a consumer advocate. I just translate here onto operation to do that even deeper and more niche to military. You got some great guests as well.
Well, get your Kleenex ready, because I'm going to be talking to some Gold Star wives as well as a Wounded Warrior wife. So it's going to be a really powerful show.
Very cool. Barbara McNally, who you're going to be interviewing, wrote a book. I met her when I emceed the military ball. She's got a great story herself. You got to remember, it's not just those who serve; it's the spouses. We honor them just as much. Mm-hmm. Cool. All right,
Awesome.
You ready? Rock star, country
ready.
star.
Let's
You want to
do
get
it.
started? All right, here we go. We're honoring those who fight in the country they fight for. Operation American Dream coming at you right now.
And we're back with Operation American Dream. I'm Amy Scruggs, the co-host. I have two very special guests today. This is an incredible opportunity. I'm honored to be able to sit here with these two ladies, but I've got Jennifer Carazo and I've got Theresa Jones here. You guys are here representing Gold Star wives. And so for the audience, if you have never been educated or aware of what a Gold Star wife means, that means that both of these amazing women lost their husbands in the line of duty. And so I want to really shine a light on the both of you and what you've been doing since. And I would like to see who'd like to go first. Jennifer?
First off, thank you for having us. I know I'm speaking for Theresa as well, but I'm very grateful for the community support we've received, and I think that's a large part of why both of us are here and doing so well right now, is because we have received so much support. I lost my husband. It'll be almost 7 years in July. He was Lieutenant Colonel serving in Afghanistan on his 7th deployment.
Wow.
Wasn't supposed to be flying. Yeah, 7th deployment.
7th, not second for those who are listening.
7th. Wasn't supposed to be flying. I know Theresa can relate. That's who they are. They're pilots. They want to fly. They want to be in on the action. But sadly, on July 22nd, 2010, we lost Mario along with Major James Weiss.
Wow.
But since then, just amazing support, especially here in San Diego. Amazing support from my Marine Corps family.
You have children as well.
I have children. Right? I have a 16-year-old and almost 14-year-old.
Oh my goodness.
And so, but they are doing well. Our son is thinking possibly about going to the Naval Academy.
How do you feel about that?
I would be delighted. He can't fly. He doesn't want to fly. He has vision issues. So we're good there.
Okay,
so
Naval Academy is great.
Yeah.
Yes.
So not really sure which area he would go into, but I would be incredibly proud if he did go to the academy.
Absolutely.
So I'm encouraging that.
Absolutely. And Theresa?
Yes. So
Similar story?
yes, my husband was a naval helicopter pilot, and he was killed on deployment on September 22nd, 2013. And so at the time, we have two boys. They were 6 and 2.5 months old. And
2.5-month-old baby when you lost your husband.
yeah, so my husband never met him. I gave birth while he was deployed. And they are now almost 10 and almost 4. So it's been a journey for sure.
Have you as well received the same support
Yes.
from your military partners?
Absolutely. And Jen was kind of one of the first widows that I met and helped introduce me to a lot of organizations and things that could help, and just connections, and even just having that widow ally, someone who I could speak to, who,
We
you
had
know.
so much in common, just
Right.
with the guys going to the academy and both
Yes.
being pilots, and
Yes.
And in those moments, I can imagine you're not thinking about, oh, great, what are my resources? You needed people to come to you
Yes.
and carry you, because I can't even imagine the grief, the shock. You're still keeping your children together. And did you feel that they just rallied around you? Gold Star wives, I mean, phenomenal
Yeah,
group of support. Tell me about that.
I had a lot of widows who reached out to me, but especially there was one in particular who day 3 left a note on my doorstep, and I gave her a call. She came to my house, and she was about 9 years out from losing her husband, and she had a son at the time, a young baby son, when her husband was killed, and to see how she was functioning, and she wasn't, you know, an alcoholic, which is really what I wanted to be at that point. You know?
Right?
She was functioning, and she was living a life, and she was happy. And I looked at her, I was like, I can get there. Like, I'm not there right now, and it's going to take some time, but I could get there. And so I think there's definitely a camaraderie, and there's a special bond
I can
among
imagine.
us.
And you two already having that bond. Tell me a little bit, Jennifer, about what you're doing to give back now and help others.
I had an amazing opportunity last year, thanks to Dog Tag Brewing and Seth Jordan, their founder. We were in talks for a while about they wanted to do a can to honor Mario. And the idea was that they were going to donate then a portion of their profits to a nonprofit of my choice. And then he called me up and said, Sugar Bear Foundation, you need to start your own foundation.
Wow.
And which was always in the back of my mind when the kids grew up, because I love giving back, and we're both volunteering and just really devoted to this and to service. But I didn't think now, and they made it happen.
That's
And
incredible. So you're watching that grow, and
Exactly,
is that
yes.
helping you continue to heal? I don't think you ever fully heal from something like that, but by running your foundation.
It does. It really does. I mean, I'm looking at it from the perspective of we are continuing Mario's legacy of service.
Right.
We are continuing what he started to do. You know, he wanted to serve, he wanted to give back to our country, so the guys and I, my board members, we are enabling him to do that, in a sense, his spirit.
Is there a website we can go to for that?
Yes, www.thesugarbearfoundation.org.
Fantastic. And Theresa, I know you volunteer
Yes,
at one of the
a
foundations
lot.
that's very near to my heart. That's
Yes.
going to be an upcoming guest, Warrior Foundation Freedom Station. What
Yes.
else are you doing to help heal through it?
So I also, one of the big foundations that I got involved with pretty early on was the Travis Manian Foundation. And it was one of the first survivor events that I went to we did an activity. It wasn't necessarily a grief group, because I have enough grief. I don't need to sit in any more grief. Like, I need to do something. And so that was something that I really appreciated about them. So as my youngest got a little bit older and I was able to give a little bit more of my time, I volunteer as their Character Does Matter program mentor. And so we do sessions on the Midway. We'll have groups from all over San Diego, middle to high school age kids, and discuss character and building character and giving back through service as well, and service to your community. I also work with Congressman Duncan Hunter in looking at various Gold Star issues that we have and trying to get laws changed to help Gold Stars now, help future Gold Stars, because they're going to come, and make sure that they don't have to deal with those things that we dealt with.
That's fantastic. I can't thank you both enough for being here and being bold to share your story with us. I know how much this has touched me. It's touching the audience. And for you guys to be giving back while working through your own pain, nobody else has any excuse. Step out, start giving back, give back to the families that need it. Thank you so much for being here.
I spent most of my career working for the same company.
When it came time for a career change, it was in my mind that things were going to be easy.
I wasn't getting hired, and I couldn't understand why.
The hiring manager looked at me like I was speaking another language.
And that's when it all made sense to me.
Well, there's 500,000.
500,000 unemployed military veterans in the United States.
So I decided to reach out for help.
With career coaching and employment workshops, Hire Heroes USA empowers military members, veterans, and spouses in their job search at no cost to them. Go to hireheroesusa.org to learn more.
I'm Amy Scruggs, and we're back with Operation American Dream. I have a really wonderful guest today that I'm excited to introduce, another dear friend of mine, Mr. Robert Calloway, the State Director for Veterans Association of Real Estate Professionals, VAREP. I've had the honor to be a part of the foundation for quite some time, but Robert, if you could tell us exactly what is VAREP?
VAREP, we are a veteran nonprofit. We advocate for home ownership and financial literacy for our veterans and active duty communities. And so we do that different ways through education. We teach real estate professionals, as well as we will talk to the civilian sector as well, and just educate them on the VA home loan and their benefits.
Because in your experience, is everybody already completely educated on the VA loan or on VA home ownership in general, that it's just easy and wonderful, right?
Sounds good.
Is that the impression?
That is the impression, but it's not true. And so Typically, right now, I think it's about 23 million veterans in the United States, and only about 1.9, maybe 2.2 million have used their VA home loan. And out of that 22 million, about 16 million own homes. So there's a vast disparity of people that are using their VA home loan versus those that own their homes. So definitely, we're just trying to be the foot soldiers on the ground and educate so that they'll know and understand that great benefit that they have for their service.
And you started out here with the San Diego chapter.
Yes, I did.
With your boots on the ground, sweat, blood, and tears into a lot of work of helping educate our San Diego community
Yes.
of realtors as well as directly to consumers. But now you are the state director.
Yes.
So you're wearing a whole different hat. How many chapters just in California do we have out there for boots on the ground to bring more awareness to veteran homeownership?
We have 10 chapters in California, so I'm the Southern State Director, then we have a guy that's Northern, so I have from LA down, and for me, I have 6 chapters. Let me see if I can remember them. I'm not as young as I used to be. I have LA chapter, we have an Orange County chapter, we just opened up, our latest chapter was the Coachella Valley in the desert, then we've got Riverside, San Bernardino, San Diego. So,
Wow.
Well,
and for our audience to know as well is that Robert is not just some guy that decided to jump in. You are a 26-year Navy veteran, am I correct?
Yes. I retired in June of 2011 after 26 years, 2 months, and 11 days, but I didn't count.
That doesn't count, right?
No,
you
that
didn't count
doesn't
at all.
count. But,
But Robert, you're also a very well-known real estate broker here in the San Diego community.
Yes.
So I think that would probably be a good reason why you're so passionate about this as well, being a veteran and very involved in the real estate community.
Absolutely, and so I try to share and educate as much as I can, and so I do get those calls. Hey, what about this, or how do we do this? And so it's to try to, and mostly what we do is we try to dispel the myths of the rights and the wrongs, the do's and do nots for the VA home loan. And so anybody that wants to call and have a conversation that they don't know, I try to share what little bit of knowledge I have and learned over the last 5 years with VAREP to be able to make sure that we're doing the right thing for our veterans. And that's the real thing, is to make sure that our veterans, those that have the desire and the ability to purchase a home, that they can do that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And VAREP was founded in what year? How many years?
2011.
So it's still fairly new.
It's fairly new.
And it has been phenomenal to see the growth of what's taken place with the foundation,
Yes.
but especially San Diego being kind of one of the original
Yes,
chapters
we were.
for it nationally. And I know that they've got 2 platforms of outreach that they're doing. It's educating the real estate community.
Yes.
And if you go to the website, which is
VAREP.net.
VAREP.net, but they also have another area that the future homeowners can click on.
Yes.
That goes directly to answer their questions about home ownership. So they've done a great job, am I right, putting it together?
Yes, absolutely. And so because what was happening is a lot of people would research VA home loans or something like that effect, and VAREP would pop up, and they were like, well, why are you going to charge me $99 to get information? And so we've been working on launching our consumer portal. So that's what we did, was so when they come in, are you a real estate professional or consumer, so they can go in, and then they have education there, as well as, we have our House of Vet program where
Wonderful.
we donate homes. I think we've done 13 over the last 2 years, and then we do sell some that are typically we get them from the banks, and they will they will renovate them. We'll do an appraisal on it, and then typically it's about 15 to 20% below the appraised value.
That is fantastic.
Yes.
And then they're given to that veteran.
Yes.
Amazing things that have been taking place. VAREP.net, I really encourage everybody to go to that website and check
Yes.
it out. You've got golf tournaments that you guys are doing for raising funds. You
Yes.
also do veteran summits and
yes.
outreach. Any other special event coming up right now?
That September will be the 3rd annual golf tournament for San Diego. It'll be right down the street here at Riverwalk, September the 27th, so save the date.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much,
yes.
Robert, for coming in today. We're going to have you back another time. Lots to talk
Okay.
about with the
Can I
policy
host?
conference in DT. Thank you so much. Please check out VAREP.net. welcome back to Operation American Dream. I'm Amy Scruggs, the co-host here today, and we have a very special guest that I want to introduce. Her name is Barbara McNally. She is an amazing author, wounded warrior wife, and I mean, the story, I'm going to have her share a little bit of why she wrote this book. But Barbara, first of all, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Well, thanks
and
for
being
having
able
me.
to talk about this. I really want to spend the time highlighting you and your story and some of the great things that you're doing right now. So tell us a little bit, what made you write this book? What happened?
Well, I've been working with the Wives of Wounded Warriors have a support group for them, and a spa day at the Hotel Del twice a year for the last now 10 years.
Now, spa, I was noticing in the notes, anytime you say the word spa for a woman, we're like, we're there, we don't even care why. But what I love is tell the audience what spa actually represents in this case, that yes, they get the spa day, but what does it represent?
It stands for support, purpose, and appreciation.
Love it.
And when somebody we love is wounded, it affects our lives too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to care for the caregiver. And the woman who is keeping care of her injured or wounded warrior, I wanted a day for them to come and relax, bond with other women that are going through the same thing so they don't feel so alone, and learn about the resources and tools out there to heal not only their husband, but themselves and their whole family on this journey.
That's incredible, because it is the whole family that serves. And then, like you're sharing, when you've got a wounded warrior, that caregiver, that spouse, she's emotionally going through her own transition. Tell me a little bit about maybe a couple stories that really touched your heart, or what really inspired you as you've grown in what you wrote and what you're doing.
Well, the biggest really turning point to write the book is I was driving across the Coronado Bridge, and a young man stopped his car in front of me and jumped off the bridge. And I did a little research, and he was a wounded warrior, only 20, and he left behind a wife, a mom, and children. And I was thinking, you know, I wanted to turn this horrific event into something positive. And that would be writing inspirational stories about women that have helped their husbands through these traumatic experiences coming home from war, and have found resources to heal their family. Because really the closest key to our wounded warriors is their wife or their mom.
Absolutely.
And they're our link. They know them better than anybody, even the VA. So they might know what could help him get out of his isolation. And the story's filled with inspirational stories and resources like healing waters is fly fishing.
Wow.
There's horseback riding, there's music. There's so many ways to get the family, you know, out of the isolation, connected with other people, and then that can start the healing process.
That's phenomenal that you put this together. You have an extensive background in your own training as well, don't you?
Right,
That helped you do this.
Yes, I've been a physical therapist for years, and I found that when the spouse, whether it's the male or the female, that if they keep care of themselves, the marriage is going to last. And so even, you know, working one of the stories on a mat, you know, with physical therapy, he was a quad, and his wife would take the time to go get her manicure, and she would come back. But she practiced healthy self-care. So when she came, she was 100% there for him, and then she could help him heal, and she wasn't resentful. She kept her career as a teacher.
Oh,
and
fantastic.
I mean, just to see that when we keep care of ourselves, we can keep care of other people. And if we don't keep care of ourselves, we can fall into addictions and become disabled ourselves.
Right, it's the filling up the well. You've got to add some water back into that well. You can't just keep taking it out in order for it to be a healthy well. And so, especially for women who aren't taking care of a wounded spouse need to refill and pamper. That even more so when you're dealing with the special care, filling their love languages. I think it's so incredible. Tell me a little bit about the spa days and the specifics of what you do for these women and how you treat them.
Well, we have one this Sunday. And I want to give a shout out to the Hotel Del Coronado, because I've been doing this for 10 years, and now they are sponsoring the lunch, and they want to make it spectacular. So we're going to have a catered lunch out on the lawn, and we're inviting all the wounded warriors to come join us for craft beers.
Great.
So every Sunday that I do it, the girls come at 10 and they get a massage or a facial from 11 to 12, and then at 1 o'clock we have lunch, and we have just a quick inspirational talk, and I introduce a lot of the resources and tools out there in the community that you guys share too.
Oh my goodness.
Another one of those that I want to give a shout out to is Operation Family Caregiver. So Lori Tilburg is actually helping me this Sunday and co-sponsoring, and the Dole Foundation. So both of these organizations help the caregiver, and they will be there to talk about their their philanthropies and how they can help these women help their families.
Oh, I just love it. Love it, love it, love
Yeah.
it. This is one of those women, audience, that you need to know. This is her book right here, Wounded Warrior Wife. You really want to check it out. What's your website? Outstanding website. You're going to want to go to your website. Please
Well, I
tell
kept
the
it
audience.
simple. So it's just my name, Barbara McNally, and that way it's really easy to find me.
Wonderful. Check out her website. Use her as a resource. I really can't say thank you enough for what you're doing to bless these other women. And thank you so much for being on our show today. It was really an honor to meet you.
Thank you for giving this notice. And I do encourage people to go out and give this book to anyone they know, because the more we know about the transition for wounded warriors and the families, the more we'll know how to help. So if you want to help, there's resources in there. And if you're looking to come to Spa Day, definitely get the book and contact me.
We will. Thank you. That's what we love here on Operation American Dream, bringing great resources, great people, talking about the difference that they're making. We'll be right back with more. Thank you.
All right, now joining me in studio, we're going to dive a little bit into this real estate environment, which is really well positioned. If you serve in the military, a lot of opportunities for you. We got Mike Chazelle, who's a regular with us on the show and on Lifestyles. We go out in the market with you.
Yes, sir.
You have a lot of fun on that show, man.
I
You
enjoy
do some
it.
cool stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Buddy Rushing, first time having you on the show. Appreciate you being in here as well.
Absolutely.
Now, you both served in the military, Marines. Thank you for your service. Real quick, share us a story with your service.
I've had a great ride. I graduated from the academy and I went straight into the basic school, popped right out of there to combat engineer school, and then over to Okinawa and Afghanistan, and just haven't stopped since.
Awesome, man. And now you're doing this real estate thing, which we'll dive into in a moment. Chazelle.
Well, as evidenced by the longer hair, I am no longer in.
Yes.
Hippie.
You know, Buddy's is nice and crispy, is what I call it. So he's still on active duty. But what I love about our business is we get to work with a lot of Marines here in San Diego. And we've got some just really fun synergies with long-term investing strategies that we've been able to work together on.
You know what I love about some of the segments we've done with you out in the market? Look, when you look at media, there's these shows that are in LA and New York, right? And that's where people are used to when they see shows. If you're going to produce a military show, what better market to do it out of than San Diego, which is a military town?
Amen.
So he's been all over town interviewing these high-ranking people, iconic locations. It's been cool. I hope people can check out your website and see some of the stuff you've done.
We're going to go to First Tanks next.
Awesome,
We're going to need you there for that.
When are
one.
we jumping out of a helicopter into the ocean? I've heard someone mentioning something like that. Is that you're doing?
We could probably do that.
I'll come back to that. Anyway, so real estate. So one of the things our government actually gets right for our military is no money down, you can buy a house. So it's a great opportunity for you. Anyone should look into it. Mike specializes in some of this stuff, and we're going to advance into some of the investing side. Start us off.
So I think wealth building through real estate is something that I'm super passionate about. I think you share that as well. You know, if you look at the average net worth of renters versus homeowners, it's anywhere from 31 times to 41 times. So if a renter across all demographic spectrums, all income spectrums, all education spectrums, their average net worth is about $10,000. To their name, their net worth is $10,000. Homeowners, just by virtue of owning real estate, because of appreciation, the incentives built in, they have an average net worth of 30 times that in a down market, 40 times that in an up market. So I'm a huge proponent of owning your real estate. Buy your primary, own your real estate. You get the mortgage interest deduction. You have the capital gains tax exemption up to $250,000 per person for when you sell it. Use that as your primary wealth building tool. Once you've built some capital, go invest in some rentals and develop your cash flow.
The thing about real estate is you're using other people's money. If you, I don't know, let's just say $100,000 and you made 8%, that's a good year in the market, you made $8,000. That same $100,000 could buy you real estate where you get to leverage a $600,000 asset. If that went up 5%, you're going to make a lot more. Plus you get to live in it, get the tax advantages, build memories. Let's not forget it's a home besides just an investment. On the investment side, now this is something that you've really niched. What are you doing on that side of it?
Well, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad when I came back from our first deployment, and he said that if you're an average person and you want to maintain and generate generational wealth in America, buy rentals. Use other people's money, use bank financing or whatever to buy rentals and let them grow over time. Let them appreciate while somebody else pays down your mortgage and you get cash flow every month, and then just keep doing that until the point where you're financially free because your income matches your expenses. That's it, a simple system. And then, so over the course of the last several years, my wife and I have kind of done our best to find our niches, and it's really been working well.
Good for you guys. What I see as a civilian who wants to advise people who have served is if they could just get over the hump of starting, it would help. I see
oh my God,
I see so many people that have served that have decent incomes would qualify, and they don't even get into it. I don't know if it's because they don't feel stable, that they might get deployed or have to move or whatever. Maybe. What do you think from your point of view?
I heard a statistic that 11% of active duty and veterans actually use their VA loan benefit. Your VA loan benefit, for all of you watching, is like a silver bullet, vampire, dragon slaying tool with regards to financing, especially when you're on active duty and you're using it in conjunction with your BAH. So veterans are...
Not to mention the BAH. Yeah, exactly.
It's a tax-free entitlement, and you use it to in turn get a double whammy in taxes because of the mortgage interest deduction. So it brings your base pay, for all you military out there, it brings your base pay down to almost being tax-free hazardous duty pay in Fifth Fleet.
Nice. Well, and you talk about investing, which is where your niche, it's about risk and reward. You have to remember when you're talking about no money down, you're not really risking anything. It's just making a commitment to do so. So we got about a minute left. How would you encourage to get people off the fence and get started? You guys have obviously done well for yourselves. What got you started? What got you to be part of the 89%?
I think get educated. Get educated and know your dollars first and foremost. We both share the same experience on deployment. We read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it got us engaged into thinking about real estate under a different premise.
Real quick, buddy, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you got to have a team. Like, you got to get educated and you got to have a team in place, because that's why most people don't start, is the answer to your question, is they don't know where to start. They don't have a team, so they don't want to take the risk of losing all their money. Get plugged into a good team, educate yourself, and then take action. It's the number one thing.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned it. So if you want to reach out and get advice on this, we have guys like this who can help you. I mean, from financial to real estate to mortgage. I mean, really it is a turnkey solution. If you're interested in this stuff, please reach out to us online. Shoot me a message. Email me directly if you want to. I'd love to connect you with these guys. But get in the game. It really is an opportunity. What do we call it? The Silver Bullet Dragon Slayer idea? So it's the Silver Bullet Dragon Slayer.
Love it.
Good stuff, guys. Appreciate having you on the show. More of Operation American Dream coming up next. All right, so that's a wrap. Amy Scruggs, great show today as always.
It's amazing content. It's incredible to see the guests that we have come in and what they have to share. That really, I think, is truly educating and empowering people to want to find out more about what's going on with their foundation.
Yeah, and it's not only those who serve. There's a lot of people like me who haven't served. You haven't served either. I mean, but we do a lot for the military, and there's a lot of people that tune into the show where if you just support those that protect our freedoms, this really is the show for you. You can count on this every week. Amy and I, she has lined this thing up with guests for like months, like high profile, amazing guests. So we got a lot of cool stuff coming.
Lots of great stuff coming. You don't want to miss it.
So if you want to engage in the conversation, certainly you can follow the show, but follow us online, visit our website, follow us on social media, and don't forget to tune in next week for more of Operation American Dream.